So, hi, I'm Roy Steves. I'm Chief Marketing Officer for PoolSupplyWorld, and as of about a year ago, I'm also Vice President of Digital Marketing for Leslie's Pool Supplies, which I know we're not in Washington, but there are 850 stores in 35 states. So between those two websites, we're handling better than 500,000 customers and supporting over $700 million worth of sales. What we're going to look at is the evolution of multi-device shopping and how it applies to first attribution and personalization. So the old days, this is a timeline of shopping interactions with your website that lead to a sale. Last touch, the last touch would get all of the credit, and you'd be choking out all of the earlier touches. So your email program, things like that, that might have nurtured that customer along the way, are not getting credit. This is a bad way to do it. If you're doing it, stop it. Better way, multi-touch attribution. This has been cutting-edge technology since about 2005, but nobody's doing it. And that's at least spreading that order out over multiple touch points across that session that leads to that sale. The next step past that is multi-device. If you don't have multi-touch, don't worry about this yet. Do them in the right order. This is step 3. Now, you have 3 different devices all contributing to the same shopper converting at the end, but you're not tracking them because they're on different cookies. These are different devices. They have their own cart and they're separate events. So if you can tie them together, you can start to see a much different shopping experience. These, all of the ones that render like this, are real orders from real customers out of my database. This person used 5 different devices over the course of an 18-month shopping cycle, placing a multitude of orders. And if you look in here, there are concurrencies where they're using more than one device at a time. You zoom in on that, you actually see, oh, well, within this day, there are some really tight clusters of activity. Zoom in even further, and you see this type of behavior where they start on one device, transition to another device to complete their purchasing behavior. Okay, this is probably a phone that they check an email, then they jump onto their computer to do the rest of the shopping. The other type of behavior you'll see is something like this, where they're actively using 2 devices or more at once during a shopping behavior. This is only 10 minutes of time, and you can see they're shopping, did something on their phone that landed them on my site, continued shopping, checked out. If I'm not looking at those iPhone touches, I'm not really understanding what on earth they're doing on my site to begin with. So these can get kind of complicated. This is over about 18 months. That's 15 different client strings. Now, I noticed that these are all sequential. This is actually just Firefox updating over time. It carries the cookie, so this is actually very easy to track. Except for right here. See the big ones? Concurrent. That was an iPhone. They are a multi-device user, and now I can see that behavior across all those devices and all that time. The way that I'm doing this is I'm recording every single page load of my website into a database. Very low tech. Every single one is tied to a cart ID. That's the cart that you get when you land on my site. It's empty, but that's what you're cooking against. So it leads to an order, which is great. But like I was saying, this is only one of the things going on that we're tracking. Once you get the second cart or the third cart and things like that, you need to start tying those together. The way that I'm doing it right now is just one of many ways to do it. And that is I'm looking through all of these page loads and looking for UTM parameters or actions taken on the website that identify that customer. That's a login, that's a checkout, that's clicking on a link in an email blast, any of these things that identify the customer to me. From there, I can start to piece together their shopping session across all of those carts and get a full picture. If I was on last touch or even multi-touch, you'd only see the blue activity. You're missing out huge, right? And because we know that these customers are behaving this way, we're able to start shifting where our priorities are in terms of reinvesting marketing dollars to accommodate the fact that they're on these multiple devices. So this one was interesting. I started looking at this, I'm like, maybe that's an error. Maybe they had a toolbar that was like duplicating my page loads or something like that. I wasn't really sure what I was looking at, but they're a consistent customer and they're consistently using these 2 at the same time. So I wanted to zoom in on just this section here, which all took place fairly concurrently, and this is what I found. These actually don't line up. This is this transition, this behavior in both instances. This is their primary device, and they're also using this other device. This was 2 different browsers, probably on the same device, IE and Safari, no, IE and Chrome. I don't know why they're using more than one. Then their primary device, and then they were supplementing with yet a 4th device. So how does this play into personalization? That was the attribution piece of it. Now I'm keeping track of all of your behavior on my website. I'm watching you from multiple angles and basically being a total creeper, but it's working. So now that I know what you're looking for, I can identify behavior where you haven't been satisfied, where my site has failed you, and that is my fault, and I'm going to come help make it better. Because look at this. This customer checked out here. Their shopping experience continues for another month and a half. They did not solve all of the problems that my site was designed to solve for them. What am I going to do is pick a session, any session, like the one I just showed you, where there's something to be learned from the browsing session. Treat that customer as they're the only customer in the entirety of the world. Ted from Indiana is the only customer. You and your entire company's future relies on Ted. What do? Well, you know quite a bit about Ted. So you close Ted, sell him a thing, make him give you money for a product that you then ship him. It's simple as that. That's what we're here to do. Now, why is that so hard to do? Because it takes some sort of human interaction at this point, right? But when it comes down to it, you have so much opportunity to interact with Ted, either on an automated basis or a non-automated basis, because you know so much about him. So send him an email. Send personalized content to him next time he visits your website. Ping him on Facebook. Do something. Shoot, pick up a phone and call Ted. You know he needs your help, right? Now, this solution doesn't always come with a resounding, oh yes, I'm going to pick up a phone and sell something to people. Well, the argument of, oh, but Roy, that doesn't scale. Oh yes, I know, and my heart bleeds for you, but come on, do the work, because when it comes down to it, there is a way to make this kind of thing scale. Gary Vaynerchuk is a huge advocate of it. Do things that don't scale, because what you can do is then you're exploiting an opportunity that none of your competitors are willing to go after because they're getting analysis paralysis and they're freaking out. So what you do is you do everything manually and you automate the biggest pain in the ass first, and you will find unending success. Thank you.
Yeah!